Have you ever found yourself wondering about the unseen gears turning within India's highest court? The Supreme Court, is far beyond the dramatic headlines and the grand legal battles. It's this immense, intricate machinery, and to keep it running smoothly, countless dedicated individuals work tirelessly, often behind the scenes. But what exactly do these essential roles entail, and what is life truly like for those who serve there? Today, we're embarking on a focused journey, a real deep dive into a very specific yet incredibly foundational position that underpins the entire judicial process. The junior court assistant at the Supreme Court of India. It's a role that's, well, often overlooked, but is absolutely vital to the daily functioning of justice.
That's absolutely right. Our aim today is to meticulously explore the specific details of this vital position. We'll cover everything from the rigorous process of getting hired to the day-to-day realities of what it means to be a court servant. And of course, a comprehensive breakdown of the monetary benefits and the pathways for career progression that come with this unique form of public service. It offers a truly fascinating window into, well, the backbone of our highest judiciary.
When we say deep dive, we really mean going right to the source. We've pulled directly from the most authoritative documents available. We're talking about the Supreme Court Officers and Servants, Conditions of Service and Conduct, Rules, 1961, which are surprisingly dynamic, having been updated as recently as November 6, 2024. That shows just how current and evolving these regulations are. And we've also delved into the pivotal 7th Central Pay Commission resolutions from 2016, which, as we'll get into, profoundly reshaped public sector salaries across India. This isn't just theory or speculation. This is concrete information straight from the official records.
Exactly. Our mission here is clear. We want to give you a truly comprehensive understanding of this role. We aim to cut through any potential information overload, distill the essence, and arm you with the surprising facts that truly define this unique and often understated public service position. By the end of our conversation, you'll walk away with a crystal clear picture, not just of the job itself, but of the entire intricate framework that governs these dedicated individuals who serve the very highest echelons of justice in India.
Okay, let's unpack this role then, the term court servant within the Supreme Court. It might sound a bit formal, perhaps even a little old-fashioned to some listeners. Could you help us understand what that term actually encompasses in the modern context? And crucially, where does the junior court assistant, or JCA as you might hear it called, fit into that intricate hierarchical structure?
That's a truly excellent place to kick things off, because the definition of court servant is fundamental to grasping the organizational structure and functional roles within the Supreme Court. According to the Supreme Court's own internal service rules, specifically Rule 2B and C of the 1961 rules we mentioned, a court servant is defined quite broadly. It's basically any officer or servant who is appointed to or is part of the official staff of the Supreme Court. So this means the term encompasses everyone from the most senior administrative officers who manage vast departments right down to the various support staff who ensure day-to-day operations run without a hitch.
Okay, so it's a broad term.
Very broad. And the junior court assistant, or JCA, falls squarely within this definition. It's a critical entry-level position, but don't let entry-level fool you about its importance. JCAs provide essential administrative and operational support across a wide spectrum of the court's activities. They are, in essence, a foundational pillar. Their roles are absolutely vital in ensuring the smooth, uninterrupted functioning of the judicial system. I mean, they provide indispensable support to judges, to the numerous legal professionals working within the court, and to the entire administrative machinery that keeps the institution operational. Without the diligent work of these individuals, the monumental and frankly ceaseless task of justice delivery within India's highest court would quite simply grind to a halt. Their seemingly behind-the-scenes work is the very engine that powers the front-facing pronouncements of justice.
That makes perfect sense. It paints a much clearer picture. So if someone is listening right now, perhaps someone dreaming of stepping into this role and becoming one of these foundational pillars, what's the fundamental academic requirement? What kind of degree do you need on your resume to even be considered for such a prestigious position?
Well, the primary academic qualification is quite straightforward, actually, but it establishes a foundational level of education. Candidates must possess a degree from a recognized university. What's interesting here is that this typically means a bachelor's degree in any discipline is the baseline academic requirement. It's not exclusively limited to law graduates, for example, which might be a common misconception given the setting.
Oh, really? Any discipline?
Yes, any discipline. This broad academic entry point opens the door to a wide range of academic backgrounds. Someone with a degree in history, literature, science, or commerce could be just as eligible as someone with a legal background. This accessibility ensures that the pool of potential candidates is broad, allowing the court to draw from diverse intellectual talents. As long as they possess the core educational foundation necessary for public service, regardless of their specific field of study. It really speaks to the idea that a good general education is paramount for these roles.
Right. Okay, beyond just having that degree, which is obviously important, are there any specific non-negotiable technical skills that are absolutely crucial for this position? Because I imagine that in a modern Supreme Court, dealing with vast amounts of digital information and sophisticated systems, well, there's a lot more involved than just manually filing papers or working with typewriters from decades past, right?
You've hit on a critical point there. While a degree provides the academic foundation, the Supreme Court, like any major institution today, operates in a highly digitized environment. So yes, absolutely. Beyond the academic qualification, there's a crucial technical skill that underscores the modern digital demands of the job: a demonstrable knowledge of computer operation, coupled with a typing speed of 35 words per minute on a computer.
25 words per minute.
And this isn't merely a desirable skill, something that gives you an edge. It's a mandatory prerequisite. It signals that junior court assistants are expected to be proficient in utilizing technology for a wide array of administrative tasks. Think about it. Data entry, preparing complex legal documents, managing digital files, communicating via email, utilizing internal case management systems. These are all daily realities. This mandatory digital proficiency ensures that JCAs can seamlessly integrate into the court's increasingly digitized workflow, contributing directly to efficiency, accuracy, and the overall pace of justice delivery. It truly highlights how even foundational roles require modern tech savviness.
It's always genuinely fascinating to see the different avenues into a public service role, particularly one as prestigious and vital as serving at the Supreme Court. What are the main methods of recruitment for a junior court assistant? How does one actually go about landing this job?
Right. So the rules for recruitment outline two primary pathways, and this demonstrates that the Supreme Court values both fresh talent from outside and recognizes the loyalty and experience of its existing staff. The first method is direct recruitment. This is the more, let's say, conventional entry point for external candidates who fully meet the specified qualifications that agree in the crucial typing speed we just discussed. These individuals would typically respond to public advertisements, apply, and then navigate a, usually quite competitive selection process. It's a straightforward route for those looking to enter public service at this level.
Okay, direct recruitment. That makes sense.
Yeah.
What's the second way?
The second method, and this really highlights a strong commitment to internal mobility and career progression, is promotion from within. This particular role, the junior court assistant, serves as a significant career advancement opportunity for existing Class 4 employees within the Supreme Court. Now, for our listeners, Class 4 employees in the Indian civil service context typically refers to various support staff roles, individuals performing essential, often manual or semi-skilled duties, crucial work, but distinct from clerical or officer positions. If these Class 4 employees have completed 5 years of regular, satisfactory service and successfully passed a departmental test specifically designed for this promotion, they become eligible to move up to a junior court assistant.
5 years of service and a test.
Exactly. This dual pathway is insightful because it ensures the court can both inject new talent and fresh perspectives while simultaneously nurturing and rewarding its experienced internal staff. It fosters a culture of loyalty and long-term commitment, I think.
That's a great insight into how internal growth is prioritized. And it sounds like there are even more specialized branches within the junior court assistant role.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting given what we've heard so far about the general JCA. Could you tell us a bit about the junior court assistant hardware maintenance role? How does that differ significantly in terms of qualifications and recruitment from the general JCA position?
You're astute to pick up on that. While the general junior court assistant role focuses on broad administrative and digital support, there is indeed a distinct, highly specialized branch, the junior court assistant hardware maintenance. It's listed as Category 45A in the official rules, and this is unequivocally a more technical post, designed specifically to address the Supreme Court's growing reliance on its digital infrastructure.
So different qualifications required, I assume.
Oh, definitely. Far more specific and technically oriented. Candidates must possess a minimum BE, BTech or BSc in computer science or information technology, or a bachelor in computer application. And it's not just about having the degree, it must be with a first class or at least 60% marks from a recognized university.
So a higher academic bar there.
Yes, and to further underscore the practical, hands-on nature of the job, an additional preferred qualification is a diploma in hardware maintenance from a recognized institute. This indicates a desire for both theoretical knowledge and practical certified expertise.
And how do they recruit for this specialized role? Same ways.
Similar, but with the key difference. This specialized role can be filled either on a contract basis, which gives the court flexibility, maybe for specific projects, or through direct recruitment. But critically, for both these avenues, candidates must possess 3 years of demonstrable experience in computer hardware maintenance.
3 years experience minimum.
Exactly. This isn't a role for someone fresh out of college. It requires proven practical experience. And this specialization really raises an important question for us to ponder, doesn't it? What does the existence of a junior court assistant, hardware maintenance, tell us about the evolving technical demands and priorities within the Supreme Court itself? It's clear they're not just seeking general administrators. They are actively recruiting highly specialized technical support to maintain, troubleshoot, and ensure the seamless operation of their complex digital infrastructure. It shows a modern judiciary that recognizes its heavy reliance on technology from secure networks to advanced computing systems and strategically needs dedicated, highly skilled personnel to keep those systems operational and secure. It reflects, I think, a forward-thinking approach.
Definitely. Okay, so beyond the initial job description, the pathways to getting hired, what's the actual life like for these individuals? What are the overarching rules and expectations for a court servant in the Supreme Court governing their daily professional conduct, but also maybe their behavior outside of the workplace? It sounds like there's a distinct culture.
You've touched on a crucial aspect of public service, especially within an institution as revered as the Supreme Court. The fundamental document that meticulously governs the daily life, professional conduct, and even aspects of personal behavior for every court servant, including JCAs, is the Supreme Court Officers and Servants Conditions of Service and Conduct Rules, 1961. What's particularly noteworthy about these rules is that they are far from static. They are incredibly dynamic. As you mentioned earlier, they are frequently updated, with the latest amendment noted as recently as November 6, 2024. This constant revision signifies that the Supreme Court operates within a dynamic and evolving workplace environment, adapting its internal regulations to contemporary needs while fiercely upholding its core values of integrity, impartiality, and public trust. It's a comprehensive framework designed not just to outline duties, but to uphold the dignity, independence, and smooth functioning of the entire institution.
So once you've successfully navigated the recruitment process, whether through direct entry or internal promotion, is it straight into permanent service? Or is there a crucial probationary period, a time where new recruits and even internal promotees need to navigate? It feels like an institution of this caliber would have a rigorous vetting process.
There absolutely is a probationary period, yes. And it's designed specifically to ensure that individuals are not only competent, but also a strong cultural fit for the Supreme Court. For those appointed to a post by direct recruitment, meaning they've come in from outside, the probation period is 2 years.
2 years. That's quite significant.
It is. It reflects the comprehensive assessment required. Now, if you're an existing employee of the court, perhaps someone promoted from a Class 4 role, and you're appointed to a new post by promotion from within, your probationary period is shorter. It's 1 year. This difference acknowledges your existing experience and familiarity with the court's environment and culture, presumably. However, there's an important nuance. The Chief Justice, or the specific appointing authority, retains the power to extend this period if performance isn't satisfactory, or even, interestingly, to reduce it if an individual demonstrates exceptional aptitude and suitability very early on. This flexibility allows for a tailored assessment of each individual's journey.
What's particularly noteworthy about this probation period, and it truly underscores the rigor of direct recruitment, is that even if you're already a court servant, maybe having served for years in a lower position, but then you decide to compete with external candidates for a new role through a general public advertisement, your probation period resets to 2 years. Is that right?
That's exactly right, according to Rule 7's explanation. It's almost like starting fresh. This highlights that for new roles, even for internal candidates applying through external competitive processes, there's a fresh set of expectations and a full 2-year probationary period to prove their fit and capability in that new, perhaps more demanding role. It really shows that meritocracy is paramount.
Fascinating.
And beyond the initial probationary period, the rules lay out a truly comprehensive framework for conduct in Part 4. As we touched upon, this isn't merely a list of job duties, it's a profound code of ethics and behavior. It dictates how a court servant must conduct themselves, both on and off duty, in order to meticulously maintain the integrity, independence, and dignity of the Supreme Court. It reflects the immense public trust that is placed in every individual who serves India's highest judicial body. It's not just about avoiding wrongdoing, it's about actively upholding the highest standards.
That's a powerful point. Given that context, what are some of the key principles and perhaps some of the more surprising restrictions that govern a court servant's daily life and their broader conduct? I imagine there's a much higher bar for conduct compared to many other professions, especially in the private sector.
You're absolutely correct. The bar is set exceptionally high, and it's entirely commensurate with the sanctity and public trust invested in the judiciary. Let's delve into some of these key rules as they paint a vivid picture. First and foremost, Rule 24 establishes the bedrock principle: absolute integrity and devotion to duty. This isn't a suggestion, it's a mandate. It means being honest, incorruptible, and committed to your duties at all times. Think about it, a JCA might handle highly confidential case files or sensitive personal data. Their absolute integrity is paramount.
Right, to prevent leaks or any compromise.
Precisely. It's not just about performing tasks, it's about embodying honesty and commitment in every action, ensuring public confidence remains unshaken. Then we have Rule 24A, which delves into personal habits. Restrictions on intoxicating drinks and drugs. This rule is quite explicit. A court servant cannot be under the influence during duty hours, nor should consumption ever impair their performance. Furthermore, they are strictly prohibited from consuming such substances in public places or appearing intoxicated in public. And importantly, no excessive use, even off-duty.
So maintaining professionalism and public image is key.
Exactly. Their association with the Supreme Court means they are always, in a sense, representing the institution. Another absolutely crucial one, vital for impartiality, is Rule 26. No participation in politics or elections. Court servants are expressly forbidden from being members of political parties, engaging in political canvassing, or interfering in elections. Their role is to serve the law, not any political ideology. Imagine the perception: if a court servant was openly campaigning, it would undermine trust instantly.
Completely. Ensures impartiality.
Then Rule 29 addresses unauthorized communication of information. Strict rules on confidentiality of official documents and information. Given the nature of judicial work, they cannot communicate official information to unauthorized people, other court servants, government servants outside the court, private persons, the press, unless specifically authorized or acting in good faith as part of their duties. Breaching this could have severe consequences for justice itself.
That sounds incredibly strict but necessary.
It is. In terms of financial ethics, Rules 30 and 31 deal with gifts and soliciting. General prohibition on accepting gifts of more than trifling value without permission, and strict rules against soliciting subscriptions. This protects against undue influence or any perception of quid pro quo. A JCA couldn't accept an expensive gift from a lawyer, for example.
Makes sense. Guards against corruption.
Yes. Rule 33 on private trade or employment is also quite insightful. Generally, prior permission is needed for external trade or employment, though honorary, social, charitable, or similar work is usually permitted, provided it doesn't interfere with official duties. But even that can be stopped if directed. The rules are specific, like canvassing for an insurance agency, even for family, is explicitly a breach, shows the broad scope of potential conflicts.
Very thorough.
Moving to personal finances, Rules 34 and 35 dictate financial prudence. Prohibitions against speculating in investments, basically. Risky financial gambles. Restrictions on lending and borrowing, except with regulated institutions like banks. And critically, avoiding habitual indebtedness or insolvency. If insolvency proceedings happen, they must report it. This ensures their personal financial stability doesn't compromise their professional integrity or make them vulnerable.
Maintaining a clear head for sensitive duties.
Precisely. Furthermore, Rule 36 mandates strict reporting of property. They must report acquiring or disposing of immovable property, land, buildings, and movable property, vehicles, valuables, over a certain value, ensures transparency. And for senior Class I officers and others specified by the Chief Justice, they must submit annual returns for all immovable property they own. A big accountability measure.
Wow, annual returns for all property for senior staff.
Yes. Finally, a very strong rule. Rule 41. Prohibition on strikes and demonstrations. explicitly forbids participation in any form of strike or demonstration related to service conditions. This includes go slow, sit down, pen down, token, or even sympathetic strikes. Mass abstention, participating in a band, all forbidden. It underlines, without ambiguity, that the work of the Supreme Court is absolutely essential and cannot be disrupted.
Essential services, basically.
Absolutely. And if these comprehensive rules are not followed, there is, as you'd expect, a very clear and well-defined disciplinary process outlined in Part 3 of the rules. This framework exists to ensure accountability and uphold those very high standards.
It sounds like a very robust system. So what kind of penalties are we talking about if a court servant violates these rules, and how are these penalties actually enforced? Is there due process involved?
Absolutely. Due process is key. The penalties outlined in Rule 11 range significantly, from minor to very severe, reflecting the gravity of the offense. At the lighter end, there's censure, basically a formal reprimand. Then, withholding of increments or promotion for a time, impacting financial growth and career. More punitive measures include recovery from pay for any financial loss caused to the court due to negligence or breach of orders.
Okay, so ranging from reprimands to financial consequences.
Yes, and moving up the scale. Reduction in rank, meaning being moved to a lower post or pay stage. Then there's compulsory retirement, forcing premature retirement, though it doesn't necessarily ban future employment elsewhere. The most severe are removal from service, which also doesn't automatically disqualify from future employment, but is significant. And finally, dismissal from service. This is the most extreme and critically ordinarily does disqualify them for future government service.
Dismissal means likely no more government jobs.
Generally, yes. And the rules meticulously detail the inquiry procedures for both major and minor penalties. This is vital. It ensures a proper, fair hearing before severe action is taken. Informing the employee of charges, allowing a defense, often an inquiry officer investigates. It prevents arbitrary decisions.
So there's a clear process for fairness.
Definitely. But it's not just a system of rules and restrictions. There's also a clear pathway for addressing concerns and grievances within the system itself. It acknowledges that issues can arise.
That's reassuring to hear.
Yeah.
So if a court servant has a grievance maybe about their employment service conditions, how do they seek redress? Is there an established internal mechanism?
Yes, there is indeed. A very clear internal mechanism under Rule 40. A court servant with a grievance can first seek redress directly from the registrar. The registrar, being a senior administrative officer, is the first point of contact for internal disputes. And if the issue isn't resolved there, or if it warrants higher intervention with the registrar's permission, the court servant can then escalate their grievance directly to the Chief Justice of India.
Straight to the Chief Justice.
With the registrar's permission, yes. This provides a crucial internal channel for conflict resolution. The intent is to resolve issues internally, efficiently, and fairly, safeguarding morale and preventing matters from unnecessarily escalating outside the court's framework. It shows a system that, while strict, also aims to be just to its own people.
Okay, that covers the conduct and rules aspect thoroughly. Now, for the part many of you might be most curious about, the monetary benefits. We've talked about the demanding nature of the role, the high standards. So how does the Supreme Court compensate its junior court assistants? And how has that compensation structure evolved, especially with major economic changes like the pay commissions?
Right. This brings us directly to a pivotal moment in public sector compensation across India, the 7th Central Pay Commission, or CPC, recommendations. This commission's report was truly a game changer, not just for the Supreme Court, but for all government services in India. It was a comprehensive overhaul.
The 7th CPC, I remember that being a big deal.
It was huge. The report was submitted in November 2015. Crucially for us here, the Chief Justice of India, after careful consideration, accepted its recommendations for Supreme Court officers and employees. This led to a formal resolution published in September 2016, marking a pivotal moment for the financial well-being and career trajectory of the court staff. It showed a commitment to aligning court compensation with broader national standards.
So what was the immediate, tangible impact? When did the new pay structure kick in? Was it retrospective?
The impact was indeed immediate and significantly retrospective, which is always a huge plus for employees. The new pay structure officially became effective from January 1st, 2016. So even though the resolution came in September 2016, the new higher salaries were calculated from the beginning of that year. Furthermore, all arrears the back pay were calculated and paid out during the financial year 2016-2017. This meant employees got a substantial lump sum covering the difference from January 1st until implementation, a significant financial uplift.
Back pay from January 1st, 2016. That's a nice boost. Okay, let's zoom in specifically on the junior court assistant role. What was their pay like before the 7th CPC? And how did these recommendations fundamentally change it? You mentioned some evolution even before the 7th CPC.
You're absolutely right. There was significant evolution beforehand. Initially, before the 7th CPC implementation, the JCA post was in what was known as Pay Band 1. That range was Rs 5200-2200, with an additional grade pay of Rs 2800. Grade pay was key then, determining rank and seniority within the scale. However, and this is crucial from our source, this post had already been upgraded internally before the big 7th CPC resolution in September 2016. Specifically, the JCA position was elevated to Pay Band 2, which ranged much higher, Rs 9300-4800, and critically got a significantly increased grade pay of Rs 4200.
So it was already at grade P 4200 before the 7th CPC formally hit.
Exactly. This pre-existing upgrade itself speaks volumes. It shows the court had already recognized the JCA role's increasing importance and proactively enhanced its status and pay. So the 7th CPC effectively solidified and built upon this existing upgrade. It integrated this already upgraded position into the new pay matrix system. It ensured that earlier recognition was carried forward and significantly enhanced within the new, more transparent structure. It wasn't just an adjustment, it was a fundamental shift aiming for clarity.
Tell us more about this pay matrix. It sounds like a complete overhaul, moving away from pay bands and grade pay.
Yeah.
How does it work, and what does it concretely mean for a JCA salary from January 1st, 2016?
The pay matrix is indeed a complete paradigm shift. It replaced the old system with a more transparent, two-dimensional structure. Imagine it like a grid. Levels run horizontally, 1 to 18, corresponding to roles and hierarchy. Vertical ranges within each level show pay progression through annual increments. Makes it much clearer. To transition everyone, the Chief Justice accepted a uniform fitment factor of 2.57. Basically, they took an employee's existing pay and pay band plus grade pay, on December 31st, 2015, and multiplied it by 2.57. The resulting higher figure was then located in the new pay matrix, in the level corresponding to their old grade pay. If the exact figure wasn't there, they moved to the immediate next higher cell in that level, ensuring everyone got a boost.
A 2.57 multiplication factor.
Yes.
Got it.
Now, critically for the junior court assistant, given their pre-existing upgrade and grade pay of 4,200, this role corresponds directly to level 6 in this new pay matrix. This placement clearly indicates the role's recognized importance.
Okay, level 6. So given all that transition and the 2.57 factor, what's the actual starting salary for a junior court assistant in level 6 as of January 4, 2016? That's the concrete number, the day one earning.
Right. For a junior court assistant in level 6, the starting pay, the very first cell in that level, is Rs 35,400 per month.
35,400 rupees per month starting.
Correct. This is a very significant jump from the previous base pay. To put it in perspective, the minimum pay accepted across all levels from Jan 1, 2016 was Rs 18,000 per month. The JCA, starting in level 6, immediately begins at nearly double that minimum. It highlights the substantial financial improvement and makes the role attractive within the public sector. It's a fundamental revaluation.
That's a truly significant and positive change. But how do salaries grow year over year for a JCA once they've joined? Is there a predictable path for annual increments within this new pay matrix system?
Yes, the system for annual increments is now much more structured, transparent, and predictably beneficial. There are 2 fixed dates for increments, January 1st and July 1st every year. The standardization brings clarity. However, an employee is entitled to only 1 annual increment per year. The specific date depends on their date of appointment, promotion, or financial upgradation. Generally, if appointed between Jan 2nd and July 1st, the increment is Jan 1st next year. If appointed between July 2nd and Jan 1st, it's July 1st next year. Simple as that. This ensures fairness and predictable growth and basic pay annually, contributing to financial stability and planning. It rewards continued service consistently.
2 fixed dates, but only 1 increment per year, depending on your joining promotion date. Clear.
Yeah.
But what about long-term career growth, especially if direct promotions aren't always available? Is there a system ensuring financial progression over many years?
Absolutely, and this is where the Modified Assured Career Progression Scheme, or MACPS, plays an incredibly vital role. This scheme continues to be administered at 3 crucial points after 10 years, 20 years, and 30 years of continuous, regular service. It acts as a safeguard against stagnation. Under MACPS, even without a direct functional promotion, an employee is guaranteed a financial upgradation. This means they move to the immediate next level in the pay matrix hierarchy. Pay fixation follows the same principle as a regular promotion. This is profoundly important because it ensures consistent financial progression throughout a career, regardless of direct promotional opportunities. It recognizes loyalty and experience.
So financial jumps at 10, 20, and 30 years, even without a new job title.
Precisely. It prevents salary stagnation and maintains morale. It basically says, sow faithfully, perform well, and your salary will grow. However, there's an important change introduced by the 7th CPC regarding the scheme, underscoring the commitment to excellence. The benchmark for performance appraisal for both regular promotion and MACTS upgradation has been significantly enhanced from good to very good.
From good to very good. That's a higher bar.
It is. It emphasizes that consistent high-level performance is mandatory for advancement and financial growth. Mediocrity won't suffice for long-term progression.
What's particularly interesting, and frankly quite a strong incentive, is what happens if an employee doesn't meet this very good benchmark, especially within their first 20 years. Does the system encourage high performance?
It absolutely does, and it's a powerful incentive. The rules explicitly state that annual increments can actually be withheld for those who don't meet the very good benchmark for either MACPS or regular promotion within their first 20 years of service.
Increments can be withheld. Wow!
Yes. It's not just a theoretical possibility. It's a clear, tangible consequence impacting take-home pay and long-term growth. It's a stark reminder that consistent, high-quality work, meeting and exceeding expectations, is essential for continued financial growth. It reinforces the demand for sustained excellence.
A clear incentive for high performance indeed.
Now, beyond the base pay and increments, allowances form another absolutely crucial part of the total compensation package. Though, as mentioned, their revision followed a slightly different, more staggered timeline compared to the immediate pay scale revision.
Right. Tell us about these allowances. Were they immediately revised, or was it more gradual? What are some key ones?
It was definitely a staggered approach for most allowances. As per the September 2016 resolution, Dearness Allowance, DA, the cost of living adjustment, was effectively merged into the revised pay structure. This meant from Jan 1, 2016, DA was technically zero as a separate component because the previous 125% DA was already incorporated into the newer higher basic pay. The rate and date for future DA installments in the revised structure would be issued later by the government based on inflation.
So DA was rolled into the basic pay initially.
Correct. For other allowances, excluding DA, they continued at their existing rates based on the pre-revised structure terms. This was temporary in 2016. A committee was formed to examine and recommend revisions for these allowances, and their report and the final decision came later. This ensured a benefit continuity while a new framework was developed.
So things like house rent allowance, transport allowance kept going at old rates for a while.
Exactly. The resolution also specifically mentioned the retention of certain interest-free advances. These are valuable non-salary benefits that continued. They include advances for medical treatment, traveling allowance for the family of a deceased employee, traveling allowance on tour or transfer, and leave travel concession, LTC. These provide crucial financial support in specific circumstances.
Important safety nets there.
Very much so. Finally, a couple of other points. The recommendations to increase contributions to the Central Government Employees Group Insurance Scheme, CGEGIS, were not accepted, so existing rates continued. And on a practical note, subsequent notifications in 2018 and 2022 approved a washing allowance for all the officials and non-clerical staff of the Supreme Court. This definitely applies to junior court assistants, helping cover costs for maintaining professional attire in the court's formal environment. A small but tangible benefit.
Washing allowance, too.
Okay.
Quite a package when you add it all up. So after this comprehensive deep dive into the junior court assistant role, qualifications, conduct, compensation, what does this all truly mean for someone considering a career in public service, especially within the judiciary? What are the overarching distilled takeaways for our listeners?
Well, what's truly fascinating here is how this role, while focused on administrative support, offers a remarkable combination of attributes. Firstly, it provides an unparalleled foundation of stability and purpose. It's a stable, government-backed career with exceptional job security, especially compared to the private sector. And beyond security, there's that profound sense of purpose contributing directly to the administration of justice, knowing your daily efforts support the country's legal system.
Stability and purpose, key attractions.
Secondly, there's a clear, structured path for growth. We saw the potential promotion to senior court assistant, and crucially, the financial progression via MACPS every 10, 20, and 30 years, ensuring financial movement even without a direct promotion. It combats career stagnation.
Growth path is well defined.
Thirdly, and maybe surprising to some, the compensation is surprisingly competitive and attractive. The 7th CPC gave it a significant boost, starting at Rs 35,400 basic pay in level 6, plus increments, plus various allowances like washing allowance, LTC, medical advances. It's a solid package.
Financially quite attractive then.
Yes. And finally, it absolutely demands and fosters high standards of conduct. The utmost integrity, discipline, strict adherence to the code. It's not just red tape. It genuinely reflects the sanctity and public trust associated with the Supreme Court. Serving here is a commitment to ethics.
Indeed, it's unequivocally a demanding role, certainly requiring immense dedication, meticulousness, and adherence to strict protocols. But it's also one that offers an incredible opportunity for tangible impact and profound personal growth within an exceptionally disciplined and highly prestigious environment. You are, quite literally, helping to uphold the rule of law and the administration of justice in the world's largest democracy. It's a unique distinction.
And this rich tapestry of regulations, benefits, and responsibilities truly raises an important question for you, our listener, to consider. How do these detailed regulations, this clear but structured career path, and the unique service demands within the judiciary compare to opportunities you might find elsewhere, other government branches, the private sector? What specific aspects of serving such a vital, foundational institution like the Supreme Court of India resonate most with you? It's a distinctive blend of security, immense responsibility, and an unwavering commitment to professional conduct that few other careers can offer.
And that brings us to the end of another truly fascinating deep dive. We've peeled back the many layers on the essential junior court assistant post at the Supreme Court of India. We've revealed not just the fundamental job description, but the intricate rules governing daily life, the significant financial benefits making it a rewarding career, and the disciplined, purposeful life of a court servant.
Understanding these granular details helps us, and hopefully you, truly appreciate the foundational support system that tirelessly underpins the majestic Supreme Court of India. It's a powerful, often unseen reminder that behind every grand legal pronouncement, every landmark judgment, there are dedicated individuals working diligently, ensuring the wheels of justice keep turning with precision and integrity.
And for our final provocative thought today, something for you to mull over. In an age of rapid technological change, evolving work paradigms, and maybe a quest for more immediate gratification, what is the enduring, perhaps even heightened value of a career built on such strict codes of conduct, clear but structured paths of progression, and an unwavering commitment to a core public institution like the Supreme Court? It's a question about the nature of enduring service in a changing world. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery into the heart of India's judiciary. Until next time, keep digging deeper.